Hi everyone, this is Ryan. I'm doing a trial run of the demo I'm doing for AI Tinkerers in July, and what I'm showing is the chatbot evaluations project. And to make a long story short, I made a chatbot for recruiters to just kind of ask questions about me, and this thing like really embellished my experience in it, and it made it sound like I had production AI experience. So I wanted to learn about AI evaluations, and I was familiar with AWS. So I chose Bedrock Evaluations, which is the product for doing evaluations for regular chatbots. And I put together a second chatbot. We did evals first. Um, the number one question recruiters ask me is, do you have production AI experience? I do not. So that's a deal breaker for like 90% of them. So a lot of like most of my evals are structured around that one question. So what we're looking at here is the finished product of that. And you can basically like any enumeration of does Ryan have production AI experience, like it's bulletproof at this point. It will refuse it. The only way you can get this thing to say that I have production experience is if you like try to prompt inject it, which this thing is not protected against that because it was out of scope for the project. So how I chose to go about learning and skilling up to get this done, um, I just asked the AI for a learning plan. So let's have a look at that. It says it was 12 weeks. It didn't take 12 weeks. It was far short, probably like 2 weeks. But it split it up by topic, and we slowly built the thing up, starting from scratch. What ended up happening is that I let the AI have too much judgment. We started building the contracts and the data sets, and once I actually got to the human labeling, I was looking at this and it didn't make any sense. So now I know when writing evals, I have to fire up a workbench basically and look at it to make sure that the schema and the data set actually matches the problem that I'm trying to tackle. So when I say a workbench, you don't want to be manually reviewing JSON. It's just not a great user experience. Your eyes are just going to like glaze over, and you're going to miss a lot of details. So what I learned in this project is to build a workbench, something like this. And this is not the exact workbench that I use, but you just vibe code this thing up. It doesn't need to be bulletproof, but it needs to be able to portray the like the semantics of the of what you are trying to get out of the evaluation. So um, here are like six sample evaluations, and you can see it would, this is the review thing. So is this a passing answer? Is it fail? Um, and then we give it tags based on what it was. Initially, during the first run of this, before I went back and simplified it, it was we were evaluating on a whole bunch of different things, and I'll show you the final Bedrock evaluations run for this. I'm sorry, this one. We were only measuring for correctness and completeness, but initially it was too much. It didn't even make any sense. So put a lot of thought into your eval design before you actually run the evals, so that you know, hey, this actually attacks the problem. Um, the other thing is we also got this once we had our data set wired up. We also wired this into CI so that if something did not pass, it would fail. We would know, and this would stop regressions if we were like messing around with the prompt, which we did eventually do. The last part after evals and getting the thing deployed was trying prompt optimization. That's another one of the AWS products for this. And while we did get an improvement on the evaluation set, on the holdout set, there was no improvement. So, yeah, it's chatbot evals are pretty interesting. I wound up with a chatbot, a very simple one that that fixed the problem of the AI basically lying about my credentials and my capabilities. Um, this was a pretty good project, and what this allowed me to do is this stepping out from a chatbot and making evals for that and going to the agent is like very, very natural because it's the same of eval, except we got tool calls and then there are complexities on top of that. So I definitely recommend learning about evals with just a regular old chatbot, and then um, going into agent evals, which involves, Amazon has a separate product for that called Agent Core, and they are running evals based on telemetry. But yeah, um, thanks for listening to me.